This is the first time that I'm speaking about it. It's something that I'll never forget.
A former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs speaking out in a new interview with new allegations about wild parties and
The recent whirlwind of legal drama has brought forward explosive revelations about Kristina Khorram, the woman once dubbed as Diddy's right hand, now caught in a tangled web of accusations, rumors, and betrayals. The real question that's making headlines is whether she has been secretly playing both sides. Allegations of betrayal, heartbreak, and jaw-dropping claims are mounting, and it's all unfolding before our eyes. Buckle up, because this story is about to get even wilder.
Kind of statement. I don't see this statement hurting or helping her. You know, it's one of those innocuous statements that's essentially like, let's wait and see how things turn out. I'm going to be vindicated. You know, that's kind of the standard when it comes to these statements that are made and the individual that are stating it. It's just, like I said, I think the heat is starting to be turned up on a lot of these different cases, criminal and civil.
Kristina Khorram wasn't just any employee for Diddy. She was the mastermind behind the scenes, running the show and holding the keys to his empire. Diddy himself once praised her publicly, calling her his right-hand woman and crediting her for managing every aspect of his life. "She's been my right hand for the last 8 years," he said in a 2021 Facebook post, acknowledging her importance in both his business and personal life. For someone as powerful as Diddy, that's no small praise. But as the saying goes, with great power comes great responsibility, and in Khorram's case, it might also come with a whole lot of skeletons.
Do you believe a statement like this, and given the allegations against her, does this give you a clue about her potential role in this criminal case? In other words, do you think she could be called as a witness by either the prosecution or the defense?
Yeah, I couldn't imagine any universe where she's not called as a witness by either the defense or the prosecution.
Over a decade, Khorram rose through the ranks, starting as a senior executive in 2013 before becoming Diddy's chief of staff in 2020. She was responsible for managing his businesses and coordinating his personal life. But now, her name is linked to much darker accusations. Khorram has been named in several lawsuits, with many claiming that she enabled Diddy's behavior that has sparked serious legal trouble. While Khorram denies any wrongdoing, the sheer volume of allegations is raising suspicions.
Knows kind of his day-to-day schedule and how he operates, the individuals that he knows, the individuals that came to see him at his office or his home, and she was there during that time period. I believe that she would either be useful for the defense or useful for the prosecution.
In an attempt to address these accusations, Khorram issued a statement, calling the allegations horrific and insisting she never condoned or aided harm. "I have never slipped anything to anyone," she stated, claiming the allegations have caused irreparable damage to her reputation and family. Her words were emotional, carefully crafted, but was it a genuine defense or just a strategy to protect herself? Given the high stakes, many are left wondering.
And I know you said he explained all of the items that were involved in these Wild King nights. Did he mention who would participate as well?
A lot of them were unknown to him. He did mention that a lot of the women were very, very young as 20, not underage. But
rumors have also emerged that Khorram may have flipped on Diddy, allegedly providing key information to federal authorities in exchange for leniency. Sources close to the investigation suggest that her proximity to Diddy gives her access to crucial information that could hurt him. According to some, she's been cooperating with investigators for months, long before the lawsuits against her began to surface. If this is true, it could explain why Diddy's legal team has gone on the offensive, calling some of the allegations against him a coordinated attack.
Good morning, Michael. At this point, we've all probably heard about these infamous parties. Diddy's assistant now giving us details about what he says were called Wild King nights.
Rumors have also emerged that Khorram may have flipped on Diddy, allegedly providing key information to federal authorities in exchange for leniency. Sources close to the investigation suggest that her proximity to Diddy gives her access to crucial information that could hurt him. According to some, she's been cooperating with investigators for months, long before the lawsuits against her began to surface. If this is true, it could explain why Diddy's legal team has gone on the offensive, calling some of the allegations against him a coordinated attack.
A lot of times you'd have him with a younger female. There's a power dynamic there. A more impressionable girl is easier to reel in. Consent is between the people that are engaging, and I wasn't there in these situations to understand the consent.
Khorram's role in these events reportedly went beyond just logistics. Some allegations suggest she hired individuals to attend these parties and even arranged for special guests, while others claim that she instructed staff to carry certain items, indicating a high level of preparation for events that were far from ordinary. The big question now is, why would Khorram, who had so much to lose, go along with these activities? Some speculate that it was about self-preservation, as Diddy was such a powerful figure. Others think it might have been a mixture of ambition, loyalty, and fear. Now, with the spotlight on her, many wonder if she's cooperating with investigators to protect herself.
In the moment, it just felt like, what? Like, is this fun for him? Is this like a test?
Khorram's denials, though forceful, haven't been enough to silence the growing rumors about her potential cooperation with authorities. If she is working with investigators, it could spell disaster for Diddy, but it might also raise questions about her own involvement. Diddy's legal troubles continue to intensify, his inner circle is starting to crumble. Khorram isn't the only one distancing herself from him. His empire, once built on trust and loyalty, is now filled with cracks that seem to be widening by the day. Allegations continue to surface, and insiders are turning on him, much like the downfall of other infamous figures in history.
Listen to this description, because there is a whole section of that complaint dedicated to Kristina Khorram, where Rodney Jones basically makes the allegation that Kristina Khorram is the Ghislaine Maxwell to Sean Combs' Jeffrey Epstein. That's what it says. And of course, we know that she has been the associate of deceased financier Jeffrey Epstein, who ended up getting convicted of trafficking charges, sentenced to 20 years in prison.
The situation with Jay-Z is also becoming a hot topic. Allegations have surfaced suggesting his involvement in some of the same events now under scrutiny, although Jay-Z has denied any wrongdoing. The rumors alone, however, have been enough to damage his reputation, raising questions about whether he was complicit or just collateral damage.
Well, I think it's heating up, and I think she has to make that statement at this point because a lot of people are making accusations. I'm sure there's an issue in terms of the federal investigation and what's going on with the federal investigation and if they're going to be interviewing her or using her as a witness. So my belief is all those things are coming to a head.
Comparisons to the downfall of Jeffrey Epstein are hard to ignore. Both men allegedly used their wealth and influence to create environments where boundaries were ignored. The big difference, however, is that Epstein's fall was largely driven by investigative journalism, while Diddy seems to be unraveling from within, his closest allies now speaking out, either out of guilt or self-preservation.
In normal trafficking cases, you think of something a lot different than those accusations. And I do believe that she didn't know the details of everything that was going on. I don't really find it plausible to believe that she didn't know anything was going on.
As the pressure mounts, it's clear that Diddy's once unshakable empire is now crumbling. With legal battles, public scrutiny, and betrayals on all sides, he's become isolated in ways he never could have imagined. What does this mean for his legacy? Will he fight the charges, or will the weight of the allegations prove too much? And for those who've distanced themselves from him, are they innocent, or are they simply trying to save themselves? The story is far from over. As Khorram's role continues to unfold, one thing is certain: the truth, whatever it may be, will have far-reaching consequences for everyone involved. The drama surrounding Kristina Khorram and her involvement in the collapse of Diddy's empire has taken an even more explosive turn. As accusations continue to mount and new revelations come to light, it's becoming clear that this is far from your average celebrity scandal. The stakes are much higher, and the repercussions could be widespread. So, let's dive deeper into what's really going on.
She's employed someplace else. I'm sure she has some other business that's going on. And my belief is it's probably hurting those relationships she has being associated with Sean Combs.
Kristina Khorram's role as Diddy's right-hand woman wasn't just limited to handling business matters. She was deeply embedded in every aspect of his life. From managing his day-to-day activities to overseeing his personal relationships, she was the person who made things happen. However, as her name surfaces in multiple lawsuits, her involvement is now being questioned, and she's at the center of a storm that seems to be gaining momentum by the day.
Did he? Or didn't he? Well, if he didn't, he's got a lot to explain. Well, apparently what Diddy's done now, which is a very interesting thing, is he's on the offensive of sorts. That's right, Sean Diddy Combs has initiated a $100 million defamation lawsuit.
Many insiders now believe Khorram was more than just an observer. She may have been a key enabler. In fact, one former employee went as far as to compare Khorram to Ghislaine Maxwell, a figure who infamously facilitated another high-profile scandal. These accusations paint a picture of a woman who didn't just look the other way, but may have actively dismissed troubling behavior from Diddy. If these allegations hold any truth, then Khorram wasn't just an employee. She was a key figure.
I believe that it opens yourself up to some negligence claims. Again, I don't know if Jay-Z is going to go that far, but certainly I think it does open himself up to some negligence claims. Maybe that was part of the reason why he dismissed with prejudice. I don't know.
The stories about Khorram's involvement in Diddy's infamous parties are becoming harder to ignore. These weren't just ordinary celebrity hangouts. They were extravagant, multi-day affairs that catered to high-profile guests, shrouded in secrecy. It's alleged that Khorram was the one who orchestrated the logistics of these events, ensuring everything was in place for Diddy's special requests. One assistant claimed that Khorram would alert him whenever Diddy wanted to host one of these gatherings, sending him on frantic errands to stock up on supplies and prepare the venue. After the events, this same assistant would be tasked with cleaning up the aftermath, which he described as a wreck that looked far from a typical party scene.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
But things take a darker turn when you consider the more troubling accusations. One former employee, Phil Pines, alleges that he witnessed Diddy kick a woman outside his Miami home during one of these gatherings. When Pines reported the incident to Khorram, he says she told him to never speak about it again and warned of repercussions if he did. The chilling part: these types of incidents weren't isolated, and Khorram may have been complicit in helping to cover them up.
Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down.
Some of the more alarming claims against Khorram go even further, with accusations suggesting she wasn't just involved in the logistics of these parties, but may have been directly responsible for hiring and paying people to attend. Even more disturbing are reports that Khorram allegedly instructed employees to carry certain items at all times, which raises the question: what exactly was being prepared for, and why such high levels of organization?
Respect to the evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her.
These revelations suggest a much more active role in the wrongdoing than what Khorram might be admitting, and it's causing many to question her loyalty. Was she a victim of circumstance, or was she an active participant in an empire built on questionable actions? Some believe she got swept up in Diddy's powerful orbit, while others suggest that ambition, loyalty, or fear may have led her to enable these activities. But the question on everyone's mind is whether she's now working with federal investigators to save herself.
Jay-Z is speaking out this morning after the civil suit accusing him and Sean Diddy Combs of was dropped. NBC's Chloe Malas is here with more.
The possibility that Khorram could have flipped on Diddy and is cooperating with authorities is gaining traction. Insiders have suggested that she has been in contact with investigators for months, potentially offering key information that could have major consequences for Diddy's legal battles. If that's the case, it could explain why Diddy's legal team has been so aggressive in trying to discredit the accusations, calling them coordinated attacks.
Lawsuit was withdrawn by the accuser's attorney Tony Busby on Friday with prejudice, meaning it cannot be refiled. Now, this lawsuit had originally been filed in December on behalf of a woman only known as Jane Doe, who claimed that Jay-Z and Combs raped her when she was just 13 years old at a house party following the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards.
As the spotlight shifts more onto Khorram, her role becomes ever more pivotal. Some believe she's positioning herself as a victim of circumstance, a scapegoat caught up in a web of allegations she's powerless to control. Others, however, are increasingly suspicious of her motives, wondering if she's not just trying to protect herself but actively rewriting her own narrative in the face of mounting legal pressure.
It could be a disagreement regarding defense strategy. It could be a conflict. It could be a health issue. It really could be anything. And the paperwork doesn't identify it, nor should it. And the fact that Mark Agnifilo is still on the case and the other counsel of record leads me to believe that the judge is going to rubber stamp this motion and grant it.
But Khorram is far from the only person distancing themselves from Diddy. As his legal troubles mount, other figures from his inner circle are following suit, and the betrayals are starting to pile up. This is where it starts to feel eerily familiar. The situation bears striking parallels to the downfall of another powerful figure, Jeffrey Epstein, whose network of enablers and associates helped him maintain his empire of abuse. Diddy, too, is now facing allegations of using his wealth and influence to create an environment where boundaries were not just blurred, but completely disregarded. In a turn that has further complicated the narrative, Jay-Z's name has also been dragged into the scandal. Allegations have surfaced suggesting that Jay-Z could have been involved in some of the same events under scrutiny, although he has vehemently denied any involvement. Despite his public denial, the rumors have been damaging to his reputation, and it raises the question of whether he was complicit in Diddy's behavior or simply a casualty of the storm. This entire situation is beginning to feel like the unraveling of an empire. Diddy, once one of the most powerful men in the entertainment industry, is now facing an avalanche of legal battles and public scrutiny. The people who once stood by him are now questioning their loyalty, and many are distancing themselves for fear of being caught up in the fallout. It's a story of power, betrayal, and the eventual crumbling of a once thriving empire. The legal battles are only just beginning, but the media storm surrounding Diddy has already become a force in itself. What happens next will depend on whether Diddy can fight back against these mounting allegations, or if the weight of the accusations and the growing number of voices turning against him will ultimately prove to be too much to overcome. To this point, it seems like the bigger questions go beyond just Diddy. How will the culture of silence and complicity within the entertainment industry change in the wake of this? And what will the broader implications be for other figures in power? As the drama continues to unfold, one thing is for sure: the full story of what happened behind the scenes at Diddy's empire is far from over, and its consequences could reverberate